Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Blair Cooper, Brandon Hall back again for episode 37, Westerner to Northerner, and we'll explain why here on the Scrubbin' Tires podcast, Throwin' Sliders podcast, I should say. Throwin' Sliders podcast, not STM. Anyways, we'll get right into it. We got Dirt Dollars on deck, talking all things Sweetwater Raceway. Is it Raceway? Speedway?
Speedway, yeah.
Speedway with Mr. Blair Cooper. So let's get right into it. You know, it's funny in the cold open, I butchered. I haven't said Scrubbin' Tires podcast in probably 3-4 years now. So I guess it felt good. A little nostalgia there. So, but anyways, this is the Throwin' Sliders podcast, part of Scrubbin' Tires Media. So apologies there. But yeah, Brandon Hall and Blair Cooper back again. Blair is fresh off of a runner-up finish up there in a good old Rock Springs, Wyoming. So he's going to talk all about that. I have heard really nothing over other than a couple text messages that we passed back and forth. So excited to hear about Blair's weekend. Very excited, actually. He had a great run from all accounts that I saw. And so get into that. For those that don't know, High Limit Racing is coming to Eagle, Nebraska tomorrow, part of their Rotor-Rooter midweek racing series. And I believe it's let me check my phone. I believe it's the highest payout for their events this year. I know it is $55,555 to win. So that is the highest payout single day race event on the High Limit schedule. So it's pretty close to home in our area, if you're in the area. So very cool. And then, we're going to make some picks on that. And then we're going to talk about some Colorado racing that's upcoming. Got two tracks racing this weekend. And then Blair and I figured we'd do a little Q&A session. So, with that, want to give a plug to our presenting partner, Racing Rowdy Ranch. I know I keep promising, just been, as you can tell, not in the podcast studio tonight, live again from Stony Creek, I'm in Colonial Heights, which is considered Petersburg, Virginia tonight. But if I could get back home for more than 2 weeks straight, get back to making some hats. So, we'll play the Racing Rowdy Ranch ad. If you haven't, please go support us. And again, everything you all do outside of the likes, clicks, and views, supporting our partners definitely helps us as well. So without further ado, play that. And then Blair's going to give us the rundown of Sweetwater.
Racing Rowdy Ranch was created with one person, one adjective, and one place in mind: the blue-collar racer and the crew behind the scenes. A word that can describe these racers and crews and how they live. Finally, a place where the straightaways and turns are these racers' pastures and hills, all bordered by concrete walls that could share more than their fair share of memories, even after several coats of paint. We are racing. We live rowdy and we long to be at the ranch, riding for the brand. An apparel company designed to showcase just that. Push the limits every day and be proud of who we are. Visit RacingRowdyRanch.com now to order yours today. Saddle up, strap in, and live rowdy. Proud presenting partner of Scrubbin' Tires Media and the Throwin' Sliders podcast.
Yeah, I wanted to, before we I'll pass to Blair real quick, I did want to give another shout out to our video producer, if you will, Mr. Bryce Holcomb. So we moved to Florida. Bryce, I hope you're watching, or you will listen to this in the past tense. But we were talking with Jimmy Elledge last week. And again, if you guys didn't watch that episode, we strongly advise you do that. Had a great time with Jimmy and hope to get him back on for a part 2. But, we're talking about just racing in general and how podcasts like this one and just stuff like this can get people into racing. So a little bit of background on Bryce. Obviously, he's been involved with Blair and I for about 2 years now, doing the video edits and stuff on our show. He's helped, with the likes of Chris Eggleston, doing some video content for them on the super late model and the legend car up at CNS. And yeah, just cool guy. Obviously, he's a e-sponsored driver for us. He runs a lot of iRaces throughout the year, him and Braxton Deweese, but he actually is getting into racing because of this, and just talking back and forth with him about what's local to him. And I think he's going to get into karting, which is obviously near and dear to my heart. You know, we were talking about the prices of you know, a street stock or super stock on dirt versus a kart, and I was like, well, I don't know your budget, but you know, karting is definitely cheaper and kind of teaches you some things. So shout out to Bryce. Hopefully that goes well for him, and super excited to see him and anybody else that's just starting out in the racing scene to get out there and do it, because that's what it's about. So shout out to Bryce. Good luck to you, buddy, and thanks for what you do for us on the Throwin Sliders podcast. And yeah, I guess sorry, Blair, before we jump right into it.
No, you do whatever you need to do. I'm dragging ass, so
no, you're good.
We both are.
No, I want to do, I guess it's not really a shout out, but thoughts, prayers with the Whittar family. Obviously lost Johnny over the weekend. So obviously dirt racing podcast, but a lot of us, I know, Blair, you're familiar with him. I bought some tires from John. So unfortunate deal there, and lost his battle with his health issues. So shout out to Troy and the family there. Thoughts, prayers with you guys, and hell of a dude, and meant a lot to CNS. So thoughts and prayers there. Now, with that, I will officially shut up. Sorry, Blair, and I will pass to you.
Dude,
let's hear about
I'm glad you remembered to bring that up. I thought about that earlier today. So I know that definitely affected a lot of people who've been around the racetrack forever. So I'm involved in racing. So yeah. But no, we were that's what it's like, you know. How bad do you want to be a race car driver? You know, it's funny, they always say when you get to achieve your dreams, then you actually got to do them. And that's one of those. You know, that was a Sweetwater. For those that don't know, I'd never been there. I just started. I actually only heard of the track probably 2 years ago. Everybody knows I didn't know shit about dirt tracks, anything that went on anywhere around here. But for us, it's a 7-hour drive, and so we loaded up Thursday night and hit the road, you know, 6:30 Friday morning, roll into the racetrack 7 hours later. And then shit, that was the only thing. They did overbook a little bit and they corrected it, but we didn't finish. We got back to the hotel room at 2:30 in the morning on Saturday. So, and then we got up 6:30 in the morning and started doing it again. Yeah, so we got up 6:30, did it again, and then we were done, I think, we were back in the hotel and asleep by 1:30 the next night. So really good shows, you know, there. I watched a lot of the races, and man, the car counts. I think there was like 28. I did get to watch a little of the A-mod feature, like 28 A-mods. Guys cutting it up, driving through traffic, you know, so all the classes, there's tons of cars in the pits. Definitely a place, if you haven't been there, Rock Springs, Wyoming is like 3 hours from Salt Lake City. So we were almost to Utah. So you get a good mix of cars, you know, Colorado, Utah, Nevada.
3 or 4 hours west of Cheyenne too. So
yeah, so 3 hours from Casper. So that's the only other place I'd raced in Wyoming. So we were kind of excited to go there. And that place, as we'd talked about a little bit, just extremely high banked. It reminds me of some of the asphalt NASCAR tracks. I mean, you usually see that on dirt as often to be, you know, straight up and down almost. Place does, it was a little bit notorious. Everybody told me it was going to take rubber, and it did. But it seemed like you could still race it, you know. But the first night, that's actually, I was running second. So DJ Brink had checked out. He's out of South Dakota. In fact, I got to talk to him a little bit for the first time this weekend, but he's been really fast this season. Every time I've run into him, he seems to run good. And he checked out on us, and he pulled up, and I thought something broke, but it turns out he had oil spitting out of the valve cover, and it soaked him and just burned him pretty good. I know. Then I saw like flashing lights and everything, so he was able to come back the second night. But I was like, damn, that sucks. He got hot in there, and then Trimble, you know, he came on and took the win that night. But anyway, I got a little overzealous and missed the rubber trying to get back to Trimble when he got by me, and shot up the racetrack. And when the track's that fast, shit, Merritt and Hershey went by me like I was standing still. And so we ended up fourth on that one. But then the second night, we freed up the car a little bit, had a little bit better idea what we were going to do. And basically just, you know, battled back and forth with a couple guys and lost some spots, gained some spots. And finally, that thing, that's like I had put in a post. I think I was flat footed for 10 or 11 laps till we ran into lap traffic. Awesome. Just balls to the wall. That, you know, I enjoyed that. Kind of reminded me of the asphalt days. But anyway, blew a freeze plug out of the motor literally under the white flag, and it shot the shit all over the tires. And talk about pucker moment. Bounced her off the wall just a little bit out of the backstretch wall, and then he brought it home for the checkers. But Trimble was pretty dominant that night. So obviously he's from Pueblo. We've talked to him on the show, and they ended up winning both nights after
awesome.
Brink broke. But yeah, hell of a show. A lot of people. I mean, everybody's super nice, and they were just so excited to see sprint cars, which to me, that's what I always like to see is either the late models and sprint cars as a kid, because you rip around there, and they were super excited, and all the little kids. Funny story, because Barry is always giving me shit. He's been on the pod and talking about sprint cars, but I had a little kid come up to me and he said, he goes, I've watched sprint cars on TV and on YouTube. And he says, we watch modifieds around here. And he goes, I thought sprint cars were like modifieds. He's like, sprint cars are not like modifieds. I was like,
no, not at all.
I got a guy you got to tell that to. So he's always giving me, but all the mods were cooking around there. But I thought, I'm going to give these guys hell. But just a lot of people and a good time. So.
And we were talking in the pre-show. They have the obviously going back to what I said about Jimmy Elledge. They have the outlaw carts there, not the open 500s, what Jimmy typically runs, but the box stock, and Blair said the 250. So again, if you're looking, as we mentioned about Bryce Holcomb, like if you're looking to get in to racing on the cheaper budget side, obviously, as you know, those outlaw cars can rip, especially if you get in the open. So pretty cool. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Blair, Kenny Wallace has come out to Sweetwater and run the mod. This was like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
So
they get a lot of big names. In fact, I saw a video of Rick, my engine builder, Lowry, his son Nick. Tanner Holmes is in a video, and Nick beat him out there.
Really?
It was on Tanner Holmes. Yeah, because I was kind of just even trying to get an idea what the track looked like. So sometimes now you can go to YouTube, but Tanner in the rubber, he couldn't get by him, so it was a close one. I thought, that's cool. The Colorado guy's putting it to Holmes. This was probably 3 or 4 years ago, but
because I think when he was on the show, I believe you said it. I think I remember correctly. Electric City in South Dakota or Montana is his favorite track.
Montana.
So it must have been,
Yep.
Yeah. So that's cool. I mean, so it's some big. Unfortunately, I was talking with Blair in the pre-show, and I've never really spent too much time in Rock Springs. Obviously, being a Wyoming native, I just, that's way out of the way from anything we were doing. And, but I didn't even really know they had a track until getting into the outlaw, scene, and they obviously post their carts and stuff. So if you're definitely in the area or, looking to, go up there and race, it seems like a cool place. And so I wanted to ask you, the differences in dirt. Did you notice a difference from typical Colorado?
See, and I'd never had been there before, but I had a bunch of locals that we just pitted, on the other side of us, really nice people. And they had said, and I don't know the number, I'm going to totally butcher this, but it was a shitload of clay they had just put down like 2 weeks ago. And, so they said that, I want to say 35 trucks of clay or maybe 100 I don't know. It was a shitload. It was all, I was like, dang, that's a lot of clay. So the surface definitely, was a good surface. I know that's kind of the only thing. That's the only negative thing I've heard from drivers is that, you get a rubber up racetrack. But it was a good, so you could still race on it. I mean, there was top, bottom, but and it's hard on tires. I think that's probably my biggest. Yeah. We ended up only running 20 lap features because we were, brand new rubbers all the way around the first night, and the rears were not quite to the cords because they did shorten us up. But I definitely know around lap 18, I was starting to worry because it started vibrating pretty hard, and I was tight. So I was really hurting the tire.
See, and that's why I asked you, because you had sent me that photo on, my weekend run together with that wedding, but Friday night or Saturday. And you had sent me the photo of your tires from the night before. And that made me wonder, because obviously being from Wyoming, it's dry, it's windy, especially the western part of the state. So that would make sense that it's dry and you're just burning them up like that. But if it's not rubbering up at the same time, so I was curious about what type of dirt they had out there.
It is weird because they do a really good job prepping it. I don't know. I know, there's a bunch of people there working on it, and they rip it up backwards and then they roll it in, and it's down in a hole. And like I said, it's so high banked that the track, literally, you're probably from top to bottom, it's a 30-foot elevation change. So the wind probably hits the back of 3 and 4 more and dries it out a little bit. But even the top, even when it took rubber and it started to slick off on the bottom, there was still, I missed the rubber the second night a little bit, trying to go around lap, just getting it in there and try to clear them on exit. And there was still moisture up there. So it wasn't like it was just, like what we see here a lot of times in Colorado. Right. Some of it wasn't like that. You could back up to it and even run in it in the kind of the marbles were even, it was weird because the banking
I
just
know,
puts you in the pocket.
like, if you go west of Rock Springs to like, I've been to the Farson Eden, which is basically the border of Utah and Wyoming. Now that's like very typical to like a Pueblo, like very sandy, gritty, like the water's shit, that type of stuff, which obviously doesn't matter with the dirt. But that's why I was just curious, because you don't pay attention to what the dirt is unless you're a dirt track driver. So interesting.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's just odd, but like, I think that's probably what really helps is just being, like you walk up the corner, even when we're pushing off when they were pushing me off on the 4-wheeler, I'm like, I told Tara and Tom, I was like, you're going to have to be a little bit careful because the angle, even down the straightaways, it's not like there's no transition where it like flattens out.
Right.
That's how you can get to flat footing around there,
Yeah.
But if you miss, you're going to go a long ways. You definitely don't want to miss the top too much.
Right.
So,
well, that's awesome, man. And glad you had a good time and kept it all together. And round of applause for a runner-up finish. I told Blair.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it was pretty good. They double booked. So the Frontier region was running too. So we lost a few Montana guys, but we had some fast cars there. There was a couple guys who struggled a little bit. And Logan Hershey, the first night, he was on rails in the heat race. I've raced with him quite a bit now, or starting to when I go up there. But he even had everything under so much pressure. That's like I said, I told you, I spun 8,500 RPM for 10 laps, and I was just like, God, this is hard on stuff, blowing freeze plugs. He blew a fuel line and just absolutely coated himself with methanol. Yikes. And luckily he didn't light up. But so you definitely know. I had the thought of, there was a couple times when I knew the tires were going away that if I miss this Velcro, you're going to end up back in Cheyenne or something when this thing takes off. So it's fun, man. But it takes some getting used to. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like for you running the Western Plains series, like those handful of tracks, like it only adds another tool to your arsenal, if you will, knowing. How to get around a place like that too. So yeah, super proud of you, buddy. That's awesome.
That's, it's funny. And that's what even like Corey made mention of is, me having a little bit of asphalt background. It's just a different way of racing. And I struggle with the super slick tracks. And I think we're starting to get that figured out a little bit, but it's so hard for me just not to want, and most guys to just not want to get back in the gas hard early. And man, you pay for it in these cars. You just cannot do it. It's like you have to really. It's just, you wouldn't think that in a race car, but it's the disciplined guys that really that can roll the car around. In those type of events.
Yeah. So other, like we titled this one Westerner to Northerner, obviously talking about the ASCS different divisions. Other than you, Trimble, who else kind of cross-pollinated between the two regions?
Zach Merritt, he runs, we end up running into him a lot. So he's always pretty fast. He's run Lincoln with us. He goes to Nebraska. So whatever's, probably that's 6-7 hours. And I think they're going somewhere this week too, maybe in Nebraska, maybe Eagle or something. Him and Cole McEwen, he's out of Julesburg. So they kind of hit it together. Cole's car owner's out of Rock Springs. So that's home for them, but he has a long drive. But that's the 4 Colorado guys that hit that. And like I said, the Frontier region was running up north. I think they were in Montana. So next year, hopefully they don't cross over each other on schedules, and we can probably have a 24 car field, because that's usually in Casper. We would either have 10 cars or 24 or 26 cars, just depending on scheduling. So
sure. Yeah. It would be nice if they allowed, like, everybody's from the different regions are running a race like 3 states away. So you guys could, cross-pollinate.
We did talk about that. They're trying to work it out. And the promoter, Chris McCulley from the Northern Plains, he's been really good to work with, and just, even driver feedback. He came around and they were talking about stacking up, heat races and how to do it. And, so then they talk with the track, and it just really was, an awesome experience. So, and then like we even ran first out the second night, which I would have been fine going in the middle of the show, but that way people didn't have to leave with little kids. And so being adaptable, the track taking into consideration drivers that get on the road. Cause there was guys, like Trimble's team, they drove home that night on the second night.
Oh shit.
And they didn't have to go quite as far as we did, but I was like, I can't drive 7 hours leaving at 1 a.m. after 2 days of just being, 4 hours of sleep and it's in the car and stuff like that. So,
did you go take a tour of the Rock Springs Penitentiary?
Shit, dude, we went to the hotel, we went to Sonic, washed the car, checked all the motor out.
Sonic? They have car washes at Sonic?
No, that was our schedule, was washing the car. I ate a burnt burger from Sonic and we were back at it. Yeah, it was, so I had a stomach ache for half the day, bought some Tylenol, went to Walmart and and
Good stuff.
just felt like shit. And I went back to it and said, let's go get this. And so good battles, man. That's fun. That DJ and I had a good battle there going for a little bit, and his car just went away that second night, and Trimble pretty much checked out on us. So I did start to see him again at the end, but he didn't have to push it. He probably saw everybody else around the track. So they've just been lights out.
Right. Yeah.
They've been racing. And
I think the later part of last year bleeding into this year, they've just been everywhere they go. Midget or sprint car, just lights out.
Yeah, really cool. We got to pit next to them. I'm starting to get to know those guys.
So,
and they're really cool. And yeah, so we always have, and obviously Adam being from here, I didn't know him before all this, but we've gotten to be good friends, and he's just such a nice guy. So that's what I always tell him. Like, of course I want to beat him, every time or anybody, but I'm always happy to see him do well because he's such a good dude, and we root for him.
Yeah, in the Colorado. I mean, I guess that'd be torn for me, a Colorado driver beating a Wyoming, Wyoming guy on his own home turf. But
yeah. There was only, I think Hershey might have been. Hershey, let me think of who else, Wyoming. But yeah, he runs good, and I know he was fastest early, and then he blew my doors off that first night when I missed just a little bit. And it's fun when it's like that, when everybody's got pretty good, because that's one thing. All the cars are fast. If they're even decent, everybody was within 3/10 in that top 6 group. So
no bad crashes, anything crazy other than the
I think
oil spill and
that's DJ got hot, Hershey got soaked, and that's scary shit. So a couple guys had to pull off there intermittently, and they all seem to get it fixed for night 2, except for Merritt. I didn't get to talk to him much. I didn't get to do a lot of walking around and talking. So
you met Justin Allgaier's cousin, uncle, something like that.
Yep, and little kids, man, they talk to me for it's like we're getting work on the car done. It's like I will take a break, talk to a bunch of people. So I've been a second cousin and uncle, and you never know who you're going to meet, and nice people everywhere. So that makes it fun.
You're saying you were getting some cred for the podcast, people coming up saying,
probably about 8 or 9 people over the weekend just say, hey man, we see the podcast. And so that's cool. They're like, yeah, we try to tune in and check it out and cover our region. They're like, hey, give us some shine. So,
here we are.
Yeah, that's it. So we'll keep covering some of the regional guys too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, like I said, man, proud of you, and at least it's in one piece. You can hit I-76 in 2 weeks here. Yeah,
so I got to get my life together. It's hard going to work today. I was like, and I just tough through it, and that's what you got to do. We don't do this full time. So
absolutely. Well, like we said at the top, if you have a subscription to Flow Racing, obviously we had Mr. Chase Rodman on a couple weeks back, the voice of the high limit racing. So those of you who watch that, it's a kind of a home race for us in the Colorado region with their next stop, Eagle, Nebraska, tomorrow night. I haven't looked at the weather, but hopefully I don't need to, and hopefully Mother Nature cooperates. I know they've had probably up to 10 rainouts, or had to reschedule a couple now because of Mother Nature, but hopefully it holds out. I don't know. Do you know if Austin and Gossel's running, and possibly Buback? Do you know if they're entered in?
I'm sure Austin, I know they're kind of on. I talked to him the other day, and he said they're on like a month-long run through Oklahoma, and he's down south, or so. I don't know exactly where he was going, but that's where he's at. And he said they're hitting it hard down there for a month, because I asked if he was going to be at Sweetwater. So he said, nope, not going to make it. And Brian had a hurt motor. So he blew up at Salt City, and said an oil line came off the dry sump and bled that thing dry.
Oops. Yeah.
So they putting it back together, got to get some help, and I'm sure he'll be back at it.
Yeah, because I remember Ryan, when we had him on a couple weeks ago, he said that Austin was going to run the Eagle race, but we'll see. But hopefully,
with high limit, I'm not sure about that. I know he's been, with doing all those ASCS national tour races. But I'm sure if they can hit it, they will.
Yeah, and I was 2 years ago, I believe, when Jake went out there and run 6th, 7th, 8th, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So put on a really good show. And
I think he started right behind Larson in that one, and he had something for them all there for a while. So obviously, I remember even make the show. That's doing something.
I think I remember texting you about it, I believe, just with updates. So, but high limit coming to Eagle Raceway, be very cool one of these times to pack up and go out there and watch that one. But super excited to watch that. Blair and I, they don't have the odds out, which Blair and I are starting to get super frustrated about that they don't post the odds, a night before or the day before, so we can actually give you betting odds. for our Dirt Dollars segment. But nevertheless, we'll play the cool intro, and Blair and I are just gonna, and Tara too, if she's watching, which she cannot pick
I'm sure she's
her
down there
favorite.
watching.
Her favorite driver if he's even entered. But anyway, we'll play the intro, and Blair and I will make some picks. I think I'm going to take the low-hanging fruit because I've been getting screwed the last couple times we picked. So here we go.
We have a shooter and a good one coming out for a new point. Get your bets down, ladies and gentlemen. Get your bets down, ladies and gentlemen. Get your bets down, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, Miss Tara Cooper is already up. Spencer Baston for the win. Here we go.
Did you, before we get on this, I was watching a video, and it had to be the other day, but they were testing everybody's grip strength in the pits. They had that,
I've seen a couple videos, but I don't know if it was it high limit?
Yeah, because they had Laporte started it off, and he was giving it the squeeze, and he was like a 160. So. Yeah, he was like a 160 something. Now, most of the drivers, I'd say, I noticed Baston was around a 130. And there were some guys in the 80s and 90s, and I think they were crew guys. It wasn't drivers, but
interesting.
Yeah, so that was kind of funny. I was like, oh man, all the shit they do when they're on the road together, you become like family, and everybody's screwing around when you're downtime.
Yeah. Yeah,
some guy hit a 189. Some crew guy, I was like, geez, that guy's the one who'd be kicking someone's ass.
Oh, you want that guy on your team after the race?
Yeah, that's for sure.
We should do that with you and I and make a little bet out of it. We'll have to buy one of those things.
I'm not letting you squeeze it.
We
gotta have the tool if we're gonna do it.
Yeah. Oh man. All right. Spencer Baston for Miss Tara. And another thing too, we'll have to text Chase Rodman and say, what the hell? They quit doing the entry list as well. So we don't know, obviously you're kind of your high rollers, I think they call them, but like, I know Brad Sweet is confirmed he's going to run. Again, I was telling Blair, I don't know the NASCAR schedule, which being the nerd I am, I should know that, where they're running this upcoming weekend, but I think Kyle Larson should be there along with everybody else. And if it's paying $55,555 to win, I would imagine everybody and their mother is going to be there, including World of Outlaw guys, et cetera, et cetera. So Blair, as the true gentleman I always am, I will let you pick next.
You know what? I don't know where this is coming from. It's just a feeling. Is Brian Brown.
Really? I saw they added him. Was it yesterday or the day before? Because he's a 21, right?
Yes, blackjack.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's always fast. It's not like it's a out of the woods pick. I just feel like he's going to get one done here. Obviously I'm still on the Reitzel and Peck. I said this was going to be both their years, and shit, I've been pretty good. But
yeah, Tara Spencer Baston will pray like hell that comes to fruition this year. But
yeah,
you're two for however many picks we've made. You've got, I don't know if technically you picked Peck or Reitzel on those nights, but the people that you have picked. So yeah, you're going Justin Brown
or Brian Brown
or Brian Brown. Sorry,
that's going to be. Maybe we need to do an alternate. That would be my alternate. I still think where are they at?
Eagle. I know. I'm torn between two drivers, but
you're going to say Rico. No,
I'm not.
Okay, well that'd be my other one. I think Rico there would be. Oh, Larson. Well, of course. That should be illegal.
I said low hanging fruit. I haven't won this year, so shit.
No, I know. He always runs good, but it hasn't been the year, that's been dominant like some of these others. So
yeah, which I'm kind of thankful for because, like, was it the start last year or the year before? He was like 5 for 5, and I'm like, someone's gotta. And now Rico's kind of been going on around. I'm sure he's going to be right there, but I just feel like. The battles, like we were talking in the pre-show, I think it was last year, Carson Macedo came down from the World of Outlaws and had a sweet duel with Larson. But again, without the entry list, maybe Larson's not even running. I don't know if someone else has insights that we don't in the comments, but I'm gonna pick old trusty Rusty Larson here and see if he can get it done and not go topsy-turvy like he did the other night.
Well, and you always got to figure there's posse guys there. Your Pennsylvania guys really should be the odds-on favorites. That's even like a Brent Mark. Yeah, exactly. Just like when they go to BAPS or when they went to Port. Yeah. So, that wouldn't count him out either. But I'll just say Brian Brown. I just have a hunch that maybe he's going to show up and get it done. I didn't even know if he was entered. So that's how.
He is.
That's good.
I saw it on their page. Did you want to shout out? We were looking, like I said, with everything going on last week with the festivities I had going on, Tyler Courtney getting it done at Knoxville. So it was cool to see it. He's been top 5, flashed some speed here and there, but to get his first win of the year in the High Limit Series was cool to see. Great guy. I actually saw him again at Las Vegas when we were down on pit road for the NASCAR deal. He was walking around and said hi to him. So love that guy, and obviously racing for Marshall Racing with Brian Clausen and stuff on the number is pretty cool. So congrats to him. And who got the win? I can't remember who got the win. The most recent race. I should know this.
Shit, I don't know. After I tried to watch 141 qualify, that Speedway, is that what it's called? 141? I'd never even heard of that place.
Yeah, so they went to 141, and I believe it was Rico.
Okay. That track is. Did you see the aerial overhead?
Yeah. Is that in? Is that in Wisconsin?
Yeah. I was that is a weird shaped place. It's like they just ran out of property and made the back wall straight.
No. Travis, Arenz upset.
Oh yeah.
And he jumped in the pond.
I did hear about that. Yeah. That's right. That's cool.
So yeah, Travis Arenz upset in the high, and that's the cool thing about High Limit. I know we've hit on it a million times. Is some of these, we'll call them no names, or local favorites, local track champions show up and beat these guys, and sometimes that's like I said. So, and I noticed that last year before at Eagle is like, some of the guys that run there, like they may not have won, but they make the feature, which is a feat in and of itself. I think when those guys come,
you see it a lot more too. I mean, that's what's weird about sprint car racing is, you can get the same equipment like NASCAR. The barrier to entry is so high, or any of those others, but you're talking, it's not like they're cheap. It's not like, oh, you can just go get a car and and plus if you don't know what you're doing and don't have smart guys helping you out. Yeah, it's got to all work together. But shit, it's very possible. You do see the traveling guys have an advantage, just the seat time. You get comfortable in the car. It's like driving around your Toyota Corolla after a while.
Right.
You just
shout out to Blair Cooper. Is that what you drive?
What? No, I drive a Nissan Sentra from the auction. Thing. Yeah, it's like a $6,000 hot rod. It's got 138 horsepower. It will scare the fuck out of you.
Hey,
so that's what I mean. Like
not that much.
Yeah, no shit. It's funny because like on the highway not too long ago, this is kind of a side note, but there was a Dodge Challenger and I was moving through traffic during, 5 over, just trying to get through his busy morning. And this guy, Challenger, and he's up my ass. And I'm like, I don't get mad. I have a rule anymore. I don't do road rage. I don't do anything. I just chill. I'm like, I got 138 horsepower and there's no reason to get mad. But this guy would not give it up. I'm like, I'm moving along, and finally, we go around the bridge. I'm like, you know what? He thinks that thing's so fast. Let's see what kind of balls he's got. And I let it float a little bit. We're going, our highway's got a lot of this through it. And it's like a 65. And I just let that thing float right to his door. And I could feel his ass puckering. Yeah. And he's like, I could see him in his car like that. And I just got one, I'm like, yeah, you got balls until we hit the corners, buddy. And we're doing 85. Yeah.
Too bad you're racing against a sprint car driver.
Yeah, I'm like, I'll kill us both. I don't even, I'll roll the windows down and wave when we're flipping. I don't care.
I'll wreck my grandma if I get there first.
Yeah, it's so funny. Stuff. I'm like, all these guys in these cars on the street, they got all the balls in the world when we're going straight. I'm like, well, let's put it up against the fence on the highway and see how it goes.
Yeah, so let's put that thing on that. Depending on what you're doing, the left or the right rear, and see what happens.
Yeah, we'll let it float.
Yeah, Eagle Raceway. If you're not busy tomorrow night, Flow Racing. If you're like Blair, I think they cut it off right before the mains on YouTube. You can watch it.
Yeah, usually you'll get to see. Sometimes even heat races. Usually you get through qualifying. So, but depends. Gotcha. Some nights I go a little further. So. Gotcha. And then I watch all the recaps and everything. Sometimes they put the full show on, but I need to get Flow. I was
going to say, we're not Flow Racing does not sponsor us or support us, but definitely worth whatever the hell it is, $250.
Well, and I know it's like even we were on IMCA TV this weekend, and I'm going to have I got to go buy it just to see what it looks like from outside the track, because I didn't even get to go to the grandstands or anything on that side. I didn't get to see any of that. So.
Well, tune in tomorrow. Hopefully, if they do post the odds, I will try my best with my busy work schedule here on site to post our actual odds on favorites. Hopefully our picks, Spencer Baston, it's not Justin. Who is it that you picked?
What's that? Brian Brown?
Brian Brown. I don't know why I want to call him Justin Brown. And Young Money or Hung Money lately, stepping on it.
Yeah.
Anyway, that is the Dirt Dollar segment. So if you guys have a different pick or you differ or disagree with our picks, put them in the comments. We'll talk about it. It's kind of what that section's for. Obviously, we haven't been able to do it properly because of the betting apps not posting the odds when we're live or before the race. They do it. I swear to you, they do it like 4 hours before, which they need to figure that out because they're not going to get a lot of money, and they need to not shut it off before qualifying. It's insane because I always want to see, place my bet after qualifying, see what the guys got. But anyway, right. That's not our circus, not our monkeys. So Colorado stuff upcoming this weekend. Before we get into a little Q&A with Blair and I, we got Lincoln County upcoming on the 14th, which is Saturday. Father's Day weekend or Father's Day is the 15th. So shout out to all the dads out there keeping all the moms in check. You have fireworks and freestyle motocross. So Blair will be out there on his 450 Yamaha doing some backflips and Supermans. Definitely go check that out. You got the mods, stock cars, sport mods, hobby stocks, compacts, warriors, dwarfs, and mini mods. I thought it said free beer. I was like, well, hell. But it just says beer garden.
Cancel my plans.
Yeah, beer garden and food vendors, not free beer. Of course, that's in Lincoln County Raceway in North Platte, Nebraska. And then one of four. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so Mosca Motorsports Park for those. I just call it Alamosa. I think it's actually in Mosca, they're all like 15,000 towns that are separated by a mile down there in Southwest Colorado. So that is their season opener. Track hasn't been ran in years. I know the guys have been putting in work there. Mm-hmm. Joe's been obviously promoting that on BST. So Mosca's opening race for their schedule this year. They got the Colorado Alliance Tours, CAT race, modified stock cars, sport mods, hobby stocks, compacts, warriors, dwarfs, mod lights, and junior compacts. So basically the same as Lincoln County. And then they're running that's the first of two. And they're racing Sunday on Father's Day with everything basically that I just said. Same division. So doubleheader out there. So if you're in that area, in that neck of the woods in the San Luis Valley, go check out some what's hopeful to be good dirt track racing. So get out there, get in the seat, and then Blair hopefully will be racing at I-76 the following weekend. I do plan to get out there and help you and hang out. So sweet. Yeah, if you guys are around, come say hi to Blair and I. Obviously, we'll talk about that next week leading up to it as well. But yeah, so obviously some races. Did see Callahan got rained out. Unfortunately over the weekend, which really sucks.
It was like tornado warnings, and this year's just been nuts with the rain. Even driving there, we got lucky. It didn't rain on us too much, but heading there, it's like, geez, I wasn't sure, and then everything cleared up, but a lot of rain this year.
And it looks like Honor Speedway, Keaton Shore. You said you're going to help him out, so getting back at it. And
we're going to try to go see if he remembers how to drive at all. So it'll be his first night in a sport mod. So he's going from
sport mod. Okay.
Yeah, he got a sport.
That's mod. Right, because he sold it after he went end over end over end. Has he been back in anything since then?
He hot lapped this weekend, but no. So that car, that chassis broke at the freaking welds, and so I've got to go check out the amber lamps and. Hit him in the blinker lights, and but anyway, no. So he got all the rest of his stuff sold. That chassis was trash, but everything else seemed to be pretty good. But so he's in a sport mod, so I'll go help. I helped Blaine Lujan on the night he won, and basically that just entailed me standing around. And
there you go.
So helping by helping out, I mean standing around. But
you got the magic.
I'll go talk shit to Barry, and they don't need my help, so I'll just give them hell and see what's going on. So it should be fun. Well, can't stay away from the racetrack.
We have that omen, if you will. If you come on the Throwin Sliders podcast, usually within a couple weeks you win, or if Blair's in your pits, you win. So keep it rolling.
Yeah. I wish I could do that for myself, but we're getting there.
Hey, I was going to say one spot better than you had it.
That's it.
Well, I'm hoping at I-76. Listen, I'm calling it out now. If you have any, what's the word I'm looking? Significant damage at I-76, I'm done helping you, because the last 3 times have been, or 2 times have been something happened to you. So I must be bad luck. You're the opposite. You're the good luck. I'm the bad luck. So I'll just sit here and talk shit over a podcast.
No, man, looking forward to you coming out. Should be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Get my ass out of the fly fishing and camping routine.
Yeah. This is the first time. Shit, I've never. It's been a long time since. I know they had 305s at I-76.
I was going to say
about 5 years ago, but 360s and shit. It's been a long john, I think. Yeah. So I've never seen them there. The best show I've ever seen there was wingless sprint cars.
Oh boy,
they had a mix. A lot of guys traveling. And boy, that place was fast because it's a quarter-mile bull ring, so it's pretty high bank, but it's like a tiny Lernerville.
Yeah.
So
Jesus.
It's exactly how it's shaped. So yeah, it's cool.
Oh yeah. Well, excited to make that happen. So you said in the so we don't really have a segment. We used to do the Give Me Some Lovin' segment. So for those folks watching, if we're just going to open it up, final segment of the night, just a little Q&A with Blair and I. If you have any questions, try to keep them PG-13, not get too personal, but we'll see what you got. But yeah, open forum for you guys. And I know Blair had a question for me, so I'll pass to you.
Yeah. Well, and this kind of goes out to anybody that'll watch it now or even later. I know usually
I wear a size large in underwear, if that's what you're asking.
No. Okay, so it kind of comes down. It made me think this weekend because, like I said, there were so many people that just literally came up and they just wanted to see how everybody had, like, there was a lot of kids and stuff with their phones out trying to time lapse and stuff and asking, lap times. I think quick time around there was a 13.5. Which was an average speed. I think Logan Hershey was the first night had it, and it was like 99 miles an hour was an average speed around a 3/8 mile. So of course the speed's exciting to watch. I'd catch some of the heat races, and I'm like, it doesn't feel like it feels like that in the car, but you just, that people say, 100 miles an hour, and I'm like, yeah,
sprint cars are deceiving too, because like they're going so fast, but it's like it's just different. Like, for instance, NASCAR this last weekend was at Michigan, and going into turn 1, they're hitting like 203. Like when you're there, and you can kind of tell watching it like on the TV, but like when you're there and seeing a car going 200, you can feel it, you can see it. But a sprint car, because the tracks are so much shorter in distance, they're hauling ass, and like the true dirt fans can tell, but like it's just crazy to hear you say like, oh, the top speed was 90. Like you're going 99 miles an hour. That's
the average speed.
Average.
That's what I mean. That's the average.
So call it 100, 102, whatever.
Probably about 108, 109. Yeah,
in a winged missile, like back to the Sammy Swindle, like a fighter jet. Like it's wild. So anyway, back to your question. Sorry.
Well, and that was kind of what I wondered even for you is you've watched enough of this type of racing now. Have you developed a preference for the type of track? Like, so, you got your long straights, like say a Port Royal that turns into, a hard tight corners like you see a lot in Pennsylvania. I mean, do you like to see heavy rubber down? And that's also the difference. If you're live and in person, some people just like to see, they'll check the stopwatch and they want to see the cars go as absolutely fast as possible. But sometimes the racing suffers there, but not always.
Yeah.
And then you have your nights where it's an absolute ice rink and guys are having a hard time getting any power down at all. So that's the other extreme. And then you've got your middle to where, for me, I think probably most people would say is a track that's racy, but you have to slide to find grip, or to find grip, you have to drive all around the racetrack and it's changing.
Yeah.
There's so many different types. And that's what blows my mind with dirt still. I'm like, shit, I don't know.
Yeah. I think for me, I would say just if it's a good show and there's a lot of passing and like the leader just doesn't get strung out by 15 car lengths, like those are boring to watch. And, and I'll be the first to admit High Limits had a couple this year, and I'll text you and be like, well, that was a dud. But like, I feel like when they're searching like second, third place or within, 5 car lengths back, and they're searching and then they find something with 10 to go and, put on those hell of great finishes that we've been seeing, passes coming out of turn 4. I would say for me, it would probably be a shorter track that's maybe a little slick, because you can't put the power down and it's not just people running away from each other. And then when you get into lap traffic, then you really got to it comes down to driver, right? Because everybody has the horsepower, but you can't lay it down because you'll spin the tires and get smoked. But I just feel like maybe a 1 or 2 groove track, maybe, there's a little bit of moisture right in that middle strip, where you can kind of, lean into it a little bit. But yeah, I would say for me, the best racing to watch is like a slick track where they can't put the throttle down and people are constantly searching. And I feel like it just puts on for good racing.
Yeah, I'd say probably 90% of people feel that way. But I do have people that, you just go watch them. They'll get as close to the fence as possible. And they're like, I just want to see them go as fast as they can possibly go. And, because it's like, high stakes if they miss or something. But
I mean, yeah, for sure. And that is cool to see. But I feel like to my point, when you start getting on those bigger tracks, it does come down to the horsepower, and it's just people get strung out like that. And
so
it's just.
Do you prefer like quarter miles over 3/8 even? Like halves are tough because it can become a parade, unless it is something that slicks off some, or is, seems like Port Royal puts on good shows being a half most of the time.
I would say I'm more of a quarter mile guy. Like the short tracks are better for me to watch. I'm not even in, talking about asphalt. Like I'm not like super speedways are cool, but like there's a reason there's only 3 of them or whatever on the schedule and stuff like that. Mile and a half stuff on the asphalt, meh. But like, give me the half on asphalt or shorter, like a North Wilkesboro, like a Saturday night late model, track. I'm more about that than anything. So I would say the same for dirt. I just like the side by side, people searching, and if you not this last weekend, but like if you're putting it down too quick out of the corner, you're burning your shit up and you're going to get past. So I like keeping an egg under your gas pedal type of track.
Yeah. See, and it's funny because like when I'm driving, I obviously have a little bit of a tendency to like the heavier tracks, but I know that, fans and stuff, it doesn't generally put on a good show. And I mean, not just saying flat, like that was just kind of a one-off deal and it's fun to do that. And like I said, if you slip a little bit, they're going to go around. So I think if we'd have had 24 cars, it would have changed the dynamic even more.
Sure.
So it wasn't like, it's just going to be one lane. Cause there's rubber from bottom to the top. So it's just, but there was a few spots where you could make some moves down the chutes. So but yeah, I think you're probably in the majority. I just was curious, I figure you've seen enough of this now that, some people, I hear some weird stuff out there. So what they like. And
to be honest with you, no matter what I'm watching, whether it's a Eagle Raceway tomorrow or NASCAR on a Sunday or whatever, like I get pissed. Like, to be honest with you, like you can ask my wife, like if we're watching a race and it's an absolute snooze fest, like I just spent depending on what we're watching, NASCAR 4 hours, dirt racing. I get pissed at the end. I'm like, well, damn, that was a waste of time. You know what I mean? But it's still racing. But like, I'm like, damn, I just literally booked my evening or my Sunday afternoon or whatever it is to go watch a snooze fest. So yeah, I get a little pissed. Take it personal. I'm like, damn, I want every race to be side by side as much as you can. 14 lead changes and the last, coming out of turn 4 lead change for the win. But unfortunately, that's not going to happen every race. But more often than not, I feel like it happens in dirt racing rather than on the asphalt side, because the higher up you go in the asphalt, I feel like the car that is best usually shows its strength early, or qualifies quick time or in the top 3, and then they just take off. And as so long as they don't screw up as a driver or pit crew, they got it in the bag. So dirt racing, you can watch some guy that maybe slipped up, went over the cushion and qualified 10th, but he's gonna beat their ass in the features. So that's what I like to see. But
yeah,
great.
I think I like stuff where they can blast the bottom and slide to the cushion. Like if it is one groove, that's because like Knoxville to me, I don't know what it is. Just, they usually have the bottom and they have the top, and the middle is just, if you get hung out in the middle here, hosed.
Well, I think that was it when we made that bet, our first bet last year? Was that Knoxville or was that Port Royal?
That would have been Knoxville. Yeah,
Knoxville. Because that when Larson won and they came in for halfway break and Paul Silver chose not to spit on that thing and change the right rear, like, even though I like Kyle Larson, like that was one of those races I was like, well, that was stupid. Like literally we went to my mother-in-law and father-in-law's house and downloaded Dirt Vision and plugged it in. They're like, well, damn, that sucked. And they don't watch it. And I was like, yeah, that was a sleeper.
Can be that half mile stuff.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like I like to.
There's usually pretty good racing there.
Yeah. But I feel like short tracks usually across racing put on a better show. So
yeah, for us, I like the three. I think the 3/8 now that I've raced, all the different sizes pretty much. I like a fast 3/8. That's it's got some character to it. And I don't like rough, but you know what I mean. It's got a little bit.
Right.
It's a little bit different all the way around. So you get a little bit of that combination of hauling ass, but yet you're still having to manipulate the car, but you're not just sliding all over and having to park the damn thing.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I guess that's a hard one for me to follow up. I don't see any in the comments section, but yeah, if you got a question for Blair and I, again, just open forum. We don't have anything else planned for tonight. So send us your questions. But I'm going to ask you, Blair. Yeah, I hear you. Excuse me. I guess a question for you, if it's a hypothetical, obviously, excuse me. If there were a track, say a indoor track, we'll just call it Pueblo, if I could talk, or, somewhere within an hour from your house, right? And it was an indoor track and they ran every single weekend from April till October. Would you prefer to just do that and run one track, or continue to do what you're doing and kind of travel around to the various tracks to get a broader skill set? But the caveat is that track is closer. It's indoor. You can run all year long if you want to. And once you hit the setup, you're there.
No, it's always comfortable to do that, because if you get the setup right and you start to become we see that a lot back probably when I was a kid, the asphalt guys who didn't travel. So no, I prefer to get on the road and race against different guys. Yeah. And she also said, I prefer tracks that have good food.
Oh, there you go.
That is track.
Yes. And restrooms, clean restrooms. Anyway, sorry.
But no, so I like to get on the road. I mean, obviously it's hard. It's hard on, it costs a lot more. If you screw something up, you can really, it ruins your weekend, and then you got a long drive home. But, I think watching guys that only race locally, and I mean, nothing against them, but you'd see a lot of guys that were fast at home and then they never hit the road. And if they did, it was like all of a sudden it showed that you hadn't really put the time in to learn a bunch of different stuff, because there's so many variables. It's like I even told Adam this weekend, just following him, I've learned stuff, and he's got a lot more experience than I do, and they're just little nuances of things. And when you see different guys do different things, and I put that in my little notebook and or I'll try it, and now it's like, okay, my muscle memory picks all that up. And I think just racing the same track week after week or year after year, you just miss out on something there. And not that a guy couldn't go. I mean, there's some guys that are just naturally talented, and if you got if you have the knowledge and you continue to learn, they can go be fast other places. But that kind of scares me, is not getting out of your comfort zone. And everybody that I talk to that's had big success, or even on here, we've talked to them, they say you got to get on the road and you got to go see different competition, and you never know who you're going to run into. And it's like, this deal's weird too, because you'll see the best of the best. You never know who you're going to get. You have full-time professionals, and then sometimes you run into just a local guy you've never heard of that'll kick your ass, because that may be his local track. Right. Or everything in between. It's like taking Major League Baseball and then including some of the single and double A guys, and then you got Division I college athletes all combined. So it's different than other sports in that way.
Yeah,
so
interesting. Yeah, perspective or analogy. Yeah, I think too, a lot of it's pride. Like when you have one track that you're focusing on, the goal is to win a race, win multiple races, and then win the track championship. And that last one, the track championship, is like the end all be all. But at the same time, I feel like you're missing out on, like, there might be not as good of drivers at that local track, and you're missing out by not touring. So yeah, it's a kind of a catch-22, like.
Yeah, and kind of a caveat to that, yeah, track championships are cool, and a lot of people, you just can't travel. So I never I never say, oh, you're not, you're not worthy because you. So that I don't mean it like that. If you are one of those guys, I was that guy when I started on asphalt. I chose just to run CNS because that was the track I knew that was going to be the hardest. Everybody told me not to start there. They told my brother the same thing because it's big, especially for a legend car when we started. Yeah. But I kind of forgot where I was going. Oh, so that was beneficial because then I could learn a lot without having to change the car. So I could start to develop some consistency. But then in getting out on the road, it's like you throw a wrench and all that shit. And it's, then it becomes difficult again. I mean, I'm going through that now still. There's so many places where guys have years of notes and I've never even heard of the place.
Right.
So it really challenges, how good you think you are or how good you've been doing if you develop something at home, but by getting on the road. And then I started to venture out, and then I learned new things and picked up new stuff, and it just seems to really help.
I could see a lot of split decisions on that, but it'd be interesting to ask other folks.
Well, yeah, and that was my second point. So yeah, track championship's cool. A traveling tour championship to me is next tier,
Oh, yeah.
And I don't really race for points. Last year we ended up second in points here. I hit all the races with them, because it was like a 7-race schedule. So I hit all those, and then I ventured out, and it's like, let's go see what we got against these guys now. And then they come to your home track and they're at the disadvantage. Even like when they have the big show at Calhan, they're bringing in national tour this year. So we'll be there. I guarantee you there'll be national tour guys that have never been there that will blow turn one. They won't, you'll have no idea how hard you have to park the car. We see it every time, and they'll get it figured out and they'll be fast, but they're the ones at a disadvantage for qualifying usually.
Sure.
Because the track changes and so then they might race around your ass when they throw the green for the main, but early, that's one place where it's like, hey, I know what you're going to, you just, we saw Sammy do it the first year. He spun the car out going through and qualifying just too hard into one. And but tour championships to me are really cool. And then honestly, we just try to, right now, we're still just trying to put it on the podium and be consistent. But eventually my goal is always to be podium and just win races. That's how we got when we started winning, and championships and that, if they come, great. If not, collecting the big check that's the cool one to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, good point. Well, I know I haven't seen any other questions in the chat, but I'm sure your wife has one. So we'll pause for her to get one more question in here, and then
she's probably dragging ass too. I worked her. She was doing shocks, tires. My father-in-law is putting the heaters on the motor, putting fuel. We actually ran out of fuel in the heat race.
Tom.
We went straight to the heat race from hot laps, and that we burned up 62 gallons in fuel this weekend.
God.
So. Yeah, between hot lap and engine heat, everything. I had a drum delivered at the racetrack, and we dropped it off the back of a truck, and I was like, holy shit, I was way short. So
shout out Sunoco or whoever the hell you're using.
Yeah, no, they brought it to me from Pitt's Performance there, Speed Shop.
There you go.
They're about a half mile from the racetrack, and fresh drum.
Dang. Well, there's a question from your wife. When are you buying me a new trailer?
Shit. I don't know, that another motor first and then the trailer, or vice versa.
Priorities.
I'd like to have another power plant on board, especially after, you have a little problem with it. It scares you, but better start saving some money.
Yeah. That was
so another car. I need another car, another motor, a little bit bigger trailer so I can drive it in with the wing on, but otherwise we make it work.
Another car. What's the Toyota got to do with this?
No, actual race car. I want another. Try to build another one, but
I got you. I thought you meant the Toyota daily driver. I was like, what is this?
The Nissan. It ain't even that nice. It's got the CVT, and I got a lift to shift because the transmission's shit. So.
Oh yeah. Another car. Now I know what you're saying. Yeah, that's priorities. But all right. Well, we appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. Try to keep it short and sweet. We'll try to work on guests for next week. So definitely keep in tune to our Facebook page, and we'll announce that. Try to hopefully get back some local, regional drivers, talent, crew, whatever they may be, and then try to work on some national names that you might see on TV throughout the week. So appreciate you guys tuning in each and every single week. The reviews on the last couple of episodes that we've had have been phenomenal. So thank you for reaching out. You can comment on Spotify if you listen to it that way, or Apple. You can leave us a 5-star review. Tell us what you think. Obviously, live here on the show, or after you watch it, I think you still have the option to comment. You can message us. But yeah, the reviews lately have been very positive, so we appreciate that. And again, I'm just trying to give you guys good content and talk racing, because feels like I think we are the only podcast in really the area. So not bragging on us, but it is hard to do. We put in a lot of work and do a lot of pre-show stuff for you guys to give you guys some good content and not just get on here and blab like I'm doing now. So I'll shut up.
Well, this week was a rough one. So if you're out there and you're still hanging with us, appreciate it. But we'll get back to normal here. Those 14 hours in between. You're in Virginia from Colorado. This has been a hell of a week, but I'm glad we did it. And I just like talking racing with you. So we'd be doing this even if we weren't on here.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, took a later flight today and got in at 7:30, boogie down here, and I literally unpacked the suitcase and jumped on here to be with you all. So, but yeah. Enjoy doing it. And Blair's been holding the fort down on the track side, getting engagement there, as he said. So appreciate that, and appreciate everybody clicking, viewing, liking. If you haven't, we'll continue to say it. Please go subscribe to our YouTube page. Blair and I do have a special announcement coming in the next couple of weeks with a partner. Just can't announce it yet until you put pen or ink to paper, if that's how that goes. But yeah, super excited to share that in the coming weeks. So stay tuned to our pages. And yeah, with that, Blair, I'll pass to you, but appreciate all your guys' listenership and viewership.
Yeah, no, thanks. I was also going to say, if there's anybody listening, I need a GoPro. So if you got an old one, I'll buy it off you. It works or something. So, or if you just give me one, but I need a GoPro.
Give you a plug on that episode if you give them a GoPro. What a deal. What a bargain.
Yeah, because I didn't have one this weekend after mine got hit by a rock and it shattered, and I was so disappointed because, man, we went through lap traffic a couple times when I squeezed it in between the wall, and it was close. So I about left the stadium a couple times doing that, and so that was kind of a bummer. But yeah, I would buy one, but I just don't want to spend the money on a brand new one, especially when they get tatered with rocks sometimes.
It's
I really want one of those visor cams, but they're cool.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, it's, you buy tires for a race car, it's like not a big deal. Like, you got to have it. But like a GoPro, that I don't even know what they're up to. I have the Hero. I don't even know what the hell they're up to. But Hero 10, I think, is what I bought. But like spending $6,000-$8,000 on a damn camera, I was like, God. And then first time you go out and get hit with a rock, you're like, well, that was fun.
Yeah, that's what happened to my last one. So, and I flipped the car with one on it and it destroyed it. And I have bad luck with them, but man, they're cool when they work. Or the
Tyler Courtney don't wear them.
Yeah, I know, he's bad luck with them.
Yeah, sometimes. But
I always do it when I don't have it on. I do the cool shit that everybody wants to see on the internet when I don't have it on. So it's like I'm the opposite. Run the camera.
But yeah, if you got a used camera or you want to be generous and buy Blair a brand new one, we'll definitely give you 5 minutes of fame on the podcast. We'll shout you. Hell, we'll bring you on the podcast for that matter. So all jokes aside, but yeah, appreciate you guys. Have a good evening. Have a good week. Good luck to all of those participating at Mosca or Lincoln County this weekend. And hopefully give us some good stuff to talk about. And hopefully there's a good race at Eagle, Nebraska tomorrow. And hopefully we get to see some local Colorado guys participating. So until next time, appreciate you guys, and keep throwing those sliders. This was another production of Scrubbin' Tires Media. The Throwin' Sliders podcast is hosted by Blair Cooper and Brandon Hall. Video and audio was created by Bryce Holcomb. Please like, share, and leave a 5-star review. And as always, keep throwing those sliders.